session to listen to me a little bit. I woke up an hour early and I was, so that's not a good time management. I was waiting for everybody for an hour in our restaurant downstairs, wondering why. Obviously I was still in European time, so here is one of those things. But anyway, again, as Sergio mentioned, we know each other for many years. I think it's almost 20 now, when he was a young player moving to Manchester. And at that time, I was working for or just started to work with the English Federation. And over the years, we got to know each other quite well. And he ended up also coaching my daughter at some point in the national team. So yes, and now, of course, his son is playing for the national team. Next week, we'll be together at the European Championship. So life keeps throwing us back together, which is a very positive thing. And we will hopefully come up today during our session. Networking and knowing people and keeping contact with good people is crucially important if you want to be successful in whatever you do, but especially in coaching. Again, when we were talking about today what to share with you all, I really didn't want to put 30 slides or 50 slides and just go through a presentation, even though at the end I ended up with a few. The main point was about sharing. And basically what I've learned from my own experience a little bit first, and then moving on to what we try to do, not just based on my experience, but on many of my colleagues who have been in sport from different countries, both playing, coaching, organizing, and how we're trying to influence positive, if you like, the life of the coaches that we have in basketball, and to develop potentially their employment opportunities and grow our sport. Like everybody else, we compete with football in a positive way. We just want to move forward and create that. So first, just a little bit of who I am. I'll just mention a couple of things as Sergio mentioned. I was a professional basketball player for a number of years. In a team sport, it's very important to be a member of a team of a good, successful generation. You can't do it by yourself. So I was very lucky from a very young age to be a member of development. Practically all our reserves go into that. We run a portion of that is programs that we lead on that directly, and then other parties we distribute to the national federations, with coaching development being number one priority. Basically with the guidance and the idea that they can develop and support not just coaching education, but coaching development and create more opportunities for coaches. So this is crucial, and this is why for me it's so important to actually be involved and continue to work with the coaches, is because we really need to know what the needs are out there in order to provide these opportunities. So I will just mention a little bit here. I just put a few pictures which summarize a little bit of what I do. This is my daughter here, as you see the layup. I'm also a mother of a player. She stopped playing now, but you know, it's one of those things where you don't not just experience your own, you know, as you go through life, you have your own ups and downs as an athlete and then as a coach, but as a parent, you live in through the life and the success of your child as well. So it's one of those things where, for example, with her, we had experience from 3 or 4 different countries, which helped me a lot, again, to learn about it. I also run different programs at the moment, player transition, and this is my team winning the cup. These are some of the girls I coached. And the women in leadership, which I'll touch in a minute. Why is this so important as far as addressing the balance? I'll just kind of touch from my own experience on three coaches that really influenced my life a lot when I was a player. I'm born in Sofia, Bulgaria, and at the time when the Bulgarian sport was extremely successful, especially in the team sports, but in all sports. Basically, for me, as I was telling Sergio yesterday, I kind of had it easy to start with because I lived in the capital city, walking distance from the biggest club, professional coaches in all sports, and basically they just come and recruit you. So your parents don't have to be involved, you just go and you just turn up and you play. And I was 12 at the time, and basically my first coach was extremely impactful in my life at that time, not just with her persistence when I drift away to another sport or another activity or whatever, and she would just come and bring me back, with not aggressively, but in a positive way. But it's also because she kind of knew how to build this team, to have the couple of youngsters that were the most talented maybe, and she knew that they will progress, but not to lose the teamship in the group, so that we all enjoy to be together, and we're still friends until today. So this was really very impactful, that she really found a way to make me enjoy being part of the group, as well as learning some skills. And again, at the same time, she taught us how to learn winning. So this was very important, and it's still to this day, I really felt that this was crucial, and I tried to transfer this when I became a coach later, because that importance of that first coach is crucial. You can do so many things if that you don't feel drawn to go back to this environment. So this was crucial for her. Then I had a club coach who was a man in his early 30s, very successful former player, who liked, when you transfer sometimes in basketball especially, which is the second fastest sport after ice hockey, when you come to the women's game, sometimes you feel it's too slow. It's a little bit too much passing, and a lot of the men, especially the players that just stop, they just feel that it's not enough speed. So he wanted to make the game faster, and he gave me, I just turned 16. I was 15 and a half, almost 16, when he picked me into the senior women's team of the club. And this was a club that just won the European Cup and had 4 players who were twice my age, who just came back from Olympics with a silver medal. So he just picked me and started playing me. Not just pick me there, the basketball team is 10, 12 players. So basically, this coach gave me the opportunity and the confidence to play, and he made sure that the other players support me. So I think this is, again, what make or break your confidence as an athlete, is how you are given this opportunity. And again, to trust your teammates, not just feel uncomfortable in this role, to open up, to discuss. And we just end up basically having a fantastic team where we had the 30-something with the teenagers in the same team. And again, we managed to win European Cups as this group. And it's all down to this coach who managed to create this group. Technically, he wasn't the best coach, or tactically, but he just created that environment where this group of players knew how to win by themselves, by blending experience and youth, and end up winning. So this was really very interesting lesson from him, and again, totally different to my first coach, but really had a fantastic influence, not just on my career, but another 5 players that end up playing for years and winning way after I stopped. And then at the same time, or a couple of years later, the national coach, again, this is the one that won medals from Olympics, the 2 Olympic Games. Very tough in basketball, by the way, because the first Olympics were only with 6 teams, with the host nation and the Olympic champion, which was the United States, qualifying. So the whole world goes to qualifying tournament for 4 spots, and you win a medal, all the way in Montreal. So that was quite tough. And then, of course, we had the 2 Olympic Games with various boycotts and things. So he was a very, not to mention European championships, we had medals from each one. So he was fantastic. And again, taking this young core of these players that I just mentioned, still in teenage kind of age, and putting 4 of them in the World Cup team, all the way in Brazil again, and basically giving a lot of court time. But it was, again, a different approach by talking individually to each one. So I knew exactly, this was the first time when I was really given a specific role. What is expected of me, why I'm given this role, and why he's replacing somebody older, for example, more experienced with me, what are the expectations. So this is how you mature, And in these 2-3 years, between 16 and 19, for me, it's like a career of 20 years. This is how much experience I built. And it's all because of these 3 people that influenced my life. So this is why I just wanted to share how this impacted my life. What I would like to do now is, before we discuss a little bit later how this kind of affected through my career as a coach, and then building the programs, my thinking and also that of my colleagues, I just would like to share a little bit what is our strategy. And I think what is very important here when you talk about big organizations is important to understand
what is exactly the outreach. For example, yesterday when I went to the finals of the basketball and I met different people from the local governing bodies here, the funders, if you like, and often we get this question, so what is FIBA going to do about X? Or can FIBA fix Y? We cannot fix it directly because, for example, we want to build a fantastic coaching program here in England or in UK in general, but you cannot interfere with what the National Federation is responsible for or what, for example, the funding organizations, the governing bodies are responsible for. What we can do is try to impact this process and provide support, provide clear guidance, what we are all about, what is our strategy, and try to share this strategy with them and see if we can build something together and have some kind of a common goals. So for this cycle, which is finishing next year, we have 3 major priorities. And in the one which is obviously in the empowerment of national federations, we are talking about technical development a lot. And of course, coaches are kind of number 1 in this process. The women in basketball, we'll talk a little bit more about it. We have to do something about it because we have practically equal participation. Right now, this summer, we have, and we run this every summer in Europe, we have 16 youth national team competitions, with over 250 teams participating from 50 nations at 3 levels, A, B, and C, and practically half of them are women teams. So we have over 3,000 players playing every single year for that country. And when we have, let's say, 1,500 girls playing in the under 16, under 18, and under 20, and we have only 14% female coaches on the bench, and we have on average 3 coaches on the bench, head coach and 2 assistants, this doesn't really represent where we should be. So where is the transition from playing to coaching? Where is all this process? So we have to really focus on that to have more coaches. And this is not just on the federation, this is also on the women themselves about the commitment and wanting to really give that time. But there have to be the right pathways and programs. I'll talk a little bit later on this, how we are addressing this. And in this case, it's about women, but it could be about anything. It could be about youth coaching, it could be about men coaching. But in general, you have to combine putting policies in place and then putting programs as well to actually make sure you match this policy. So it's not good enough just to say we want 50% female coaches, for example, and then have no program of building this capacity. You have to also simultaneously have it. And the other way around, if you have just programs and then nothing written in the policies, this will not work. So this is what we want to do, and of course enlarging the FIBA family. We cannot enlarge the FIBA family without the coaches at grassroots, without coaching sticking with the programs and building and keeping the players involved. So this is what we are doing now, but for the next cycle, as you can see here, it's especially on the coaching. We specifically will focus on the youth coaches. This is the next cycle of a few years. So this is all linked to our vision and mission, but I just would like to share this with us because we are a federation of federations. Our job is to work with these 50 federations. This is for actually the whole world, so it's 213. But we, in Europe specifically, have a few extra programs in addition to the ones that FIBA runs. So what I would like to do now is just to show you 3 key things as to how we do this. Firstly, I will just touch very briefly on what, at global level, what exists. And this is, we just created this actually. It's kind of a system that we offer to each national federation with our help, and they can deliver it, of course, with our guidance. This exists and is there, and this is based on cooperation. Either we suggest on their request, and then we work together. But there are specific 3 programs that we run in Europe. One, and why I selected, because it's no point of running through millions of them that you don't need all this information. But the first one is about youth coaching and developing of young talent. It's called FIBA Europe Coaching Certificate. Maybe some of you have heard that. It already exists for 15 years. And why we're very happy with this program is because really the effect of it is incredible. We could see the level of talent development in Europe have risen across the board, not just within these hot hubs that normally exist in Europe. So I will talk about the principles and how we deliver that. As I mentioned already, the women in coaching, but I will not talk about that specifically, but about the importance of mentoring. So we just tested the program this year. Specifically on this occasion, we tested with female coaches and referees, just a few, just to see how it will work, the principle, and now we intend to kind of implement it across the board. And then the third one is about grassroots coaching. Again, Sergio is one of our top people involved in this program, but it's about, again, it's more kind of a concentrated coaching, technical course about how to work with the youngest kids on the court in order to get them engaged, to get them to enjoy this, but also most importantly to stick with basketball longer term rather than just on one or two occasions. These are the three key areas I just wanted to show you what we do. So just quickly, how we are organized globally, we have World Association of Basketball Coaches. This is a body which is basically every coach that coaches national team, etc., has to be registered and licensed there. We have a program, and we have an executive committee that basically creates a lot of materials. We'll just talk about it clearly, like every other sport. Upon request, they can deliver various coaching clinics. They have now a coaches education platform. And in this coaching education platform, they develop now, we call it Bible of Coaching. So basically, I will share this presentation with you, so for those that are interested, you can click on that and see the materials, because it's just a good example. But basically, yeah, what is the issue that we have positive and negative? So for example, when you are the governing body international of sport, and you have different models, which are fantastic. So you have, for example, the best talent in basketball, as far as talent players, is in the States. It's not always the best coaching, except at the highest level. We're talking about development of youth talent. In Europe, I don't know, for those who follow NBA, you probably noticed that this year, the three players that were in the run for most valuable player were all developed in Europe. So we had Jokic, who won it second year in a row, Serbia. Then we had obviously Luka Doncic from Slovenia, a country with 2 million population. And then we had Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is Greek, of course, and they all went through completely different schools. So these are already three excellent programs, not to mention Spain, that is fantastic as far as coach development, coaching programs, coaching education, which is really very tough coaching education as well. Not to mention the French school, which is amazing, and they have all these fantastic structures which are so well funded from top to bottom and the other way around, you know, with a very professional, very well organized. Completely different certification. The Italians, there's so many successful coaching programs. So when you come from our side, which one do you pick? And you say, this is the model that everybody has to use. Of course, Australia has amazing coaching in their institute, etc. So what we decided to do, and of course this is the way to do it, under the guidance of this association, the executive committee of this organization, which has representation for all top coaches in the world, is basically to create almost like a Bible, a guide, with the best practices, for sure the do's and the don'ts, and some material that can be delivered by FIBA instructors without imposing any particular model that have to be delivered as far as, okay, you have to have 50-hour session, or you have to go to get a master's degree, like in my case. There's still a number of countries, including my own, where if you do not have a degree from the university of physical education and sport, you cannot be head coach of your national team. The federation cannot appoint you. It's in the sports ministry legislation. So there are a number of countries that still require this, and in other countries, sorry, you just have a qualification. So basically, this is the responsibility of this group, of the World Association of Basketball Coaches, of creating this manual. And then how this manual is delivered, I will just show you very quickly the technician's pathway. Similar thing is valid for the refereeing, but basically, the main goal of this program is to teach and develop the coaches, but also to build the capacity with instructors. Because you cannot have 5 FIBA instructors running around the whole world on a regular basis and doing that, you have to do both. And how we'll do that, we do this in cooperation, where you have, for example, this is just an example. And I work currently with one federation building exactly this. So basically, there is a program. The start coaching is pretty quick and it's low level, it's just introducing people. For the next level, you need to have a FIBA trained instructor to deliver it. It's an online course with the material I mentioned. And then basically when they have 15 coaches already passing this online education, they're booking the FIBA instructor for a weekly clinic, 6 days. Let's say Sergio arrives. These coaches are there, and it's mainly practical, because they already know the theory, so it's mainly practical delivery on court with players. They're talking tactics, they're talking specifics, and on the last day, they're passing their test, their exam. And if they pass that, they're licensed. Similar principle is for the next 2 levels, where the federation have to get the people. Obviously, for the next level, you have to have the people already licensed for the level 1. And of course, there have to be some coaching happening in between, rather than just hopping from one level to the next. So this takes time, but this is basically what the federations are offered through a program that we called FIBA Plus. And Plus is about building the capacity and the quality of education. And this is all run through the coaching association, basically at world level. This is just a very quick path for the instructors. We have regular courses and they're carefully selected. Language, of course, is important. So this is available in different languages. But it's very important to actually build this network of the instructors, because as you probably know in your sport, when you go to different sessions and, for example, we have pick and roll in basketball and it's delivered on 30 different ways. You don't know which one is the correct one to learn. You need to have at least the main principles in coaching to be clarified across the board. So we have also, with the exception of the basic level, we have instructor courses on this. So this is run directly by FIBA, but delivered at the national federation level. So now I come to Europe, because in Europe we are investing a lot in coaching. And as I already mentioned, we have so many fantastic models of talent development. What we created back in 2007, and I was part of the team, is led by my colleague Michael Schwartz. You'll see at the end, at the video, he's talking on the 3rd course a little bit more about it. But we just built this, and it was a very interesting time, because back in 2007, when we were first starting and thinking about it, it was when coaching just started to use more and more technology. It was the time when they're starting to cut clips, to use them a little bit more. This software was just coming, and we just felt that initially maybe we have to train our coaches how to do this live. So for example, the main idea was you have of course a main mentor, which is Pesic, one of the most successful coaches in basketball. The idea was that he does some clinics on court, but this is based at the Youth European Championship, the under 16 age group, A division, so all these different styles that I mentioned, French, Spanish, Serbian, Lithuanian, etc., they're all there, all playing in slightly different way. And basically the coaches have classroom sessions, then they go, they watch a game, they have a specific task to observe a player, a specific player from a team or a group of players, then they have to go back and do homework, cut specific clips. The following day they present what they found, they evaluate, and the process continues, okay? In addition to that, we also build, of course, because having these fantastic people there, so we had all these 5 or 6 different schools presented on the mentoring front. So we had also the Spanish school presented, we had the French, so they're also learning what's happening in all of these countries. They also had discussion sessions with those like you had yesterday. So basically they have the opportunity to sit with Pesic and just fire questions, a group of 6, and ask him how he does this. How he, for example, coached Bodiroga, how he won the World Cup, what was the issue, how to beat the American team, which is so much more athletic, all these kind of things. So we have the opportunity also to interact with them. And the way the program works, it's a 3-summer program, so it's a lot of learning actually. They have some homework, and then they move to the next level, at the under 18 level, and then they produce the final paper. So basically, if you follow a player, you can follow how this player matures over 3 European championships, as well as doing your homework in your own environment. And then at the end of that, obviously, they have a proper exam, and they have to graduate. And we had, in the first, it's 60 places from all over the world. We opened to 3 international outside of Europe. And then we have this session. So maybe here, if Sergio can play the video where the coaches are talking about it, you could hear a little bit more about the program.
Is having the chance to work with top coaches, have the chance to listen and learn. But most important, we have the open discussion when you get the opportunity to interact with them.
If there's a chance to go to FECC, you must definitely take it. Because not everybody can come here, and it's a privilege and great learning experience.
For me, this program helps me become the best coach I can be because it provides basketball knowledge, but also knowledge from the connected fields like psychology, nutrition, and so on.
On my job, when I was a sport director in the Israeli Federation, I sent coaches to do the FECC. And one of the reasons that I said that, and then I think that the exposure for young coaches to meet other coaches from other countries, to see different coaches, to see different ideas, to see different angles of coaching basketball, plus the coaches that are giving the lectures, and be part of a group like this while there are these discussions every night and every day and every moment during the day, talking 1 week only about basketball, and it's connected to under 16, under 18, under 20 championship. I think it's ideal for young coaches developing very good coaches. And I think it's at the end of the day, the greatest coaches are coming back to their countries in terms of the basketball in their countries.
So just to summarize the FECC, the most important thing is also the network, because we have now practically a sect of FECC coaches. The talent is incredible. Again, talking about these 250-some teams playing this summer alone, they're led in most cases by people that went through the program. So I just would like to quickly also focus just to mention, of course, we have a coaching website that is available, and this is free, and we have over 100,000 registrations. I think now there are over 150, and again, it's all ready for the coaches to just use, and this is, of course, also transferred to an app. So basically you can have your practice plan and preparation on your phone. It's all preset, and we feel that this is something that can help the coaches in their coaching life. But just moving to the mentoring, I just quickly, again, I will show you a short video of how a mentor, one of our mentors, is talking to her mentees. Basically, the program is we were lucky to have a grant from the European Union, the Erasmus Fund, about this program to test it, as I mentioned. Basically, we have a camp every year in Slovenia where every federation can nominate a talented female coach. And then the best or the most talented 6 were selected by the top tutors or mentors that we have. Marina Malkovic, multiple winner of EuroBasket and other titles. She coached all over the world. And Natalia Hejkova, who is probably the most successful EuroLeague women coach in history with the most appearances in Final Fours. And then basically the program consists of various sessions. So it's not just regular online sessions and sharing. They're very open sessions. When they log online, they ask a lot of questions, and they're sharing how to deal with this situation, how to deal with management. I have an issue with a player. They just ask anything and everything. But also they have the opportunity for, as we call it, job shadowing. So they go and they actually attend in their own working environment. So here is an example of some of the online sessions. Of course, there is also a sports psychologist on top there, Dubravka, who also deals with the group in general, but also they have the opportunity to be coached individually if they have specific issues. And also, as we said, they spent a week with her when she was preparing for the World Cup qualifiers with the Serbian national team. She also coaches club level at Fenerbahce now. She was in Japan before, and with Natalia Hejkova in Prague. So I already mentioned here, it's about empowerment, and I think Sergio will just play now a little bit of what she said to the coaches.
I want to welcome you all here on the camp. I believe that this is a great opportunity for you guys to improve, to work hard with a special program, to really, get deep into basketball issues, to talk every day. All my life, I was always looking forward during my whole career to places like this and all that you're going to go through now. Because, working all day long, having 2 to 3 practices, and then just talking basketball 24 hours, it's a great opportunity to, develop yourself as a coach and to really learn some new things and share experiences. So I really believe that this is the best possible occasion that you can have, and I'm sure that you're gonna really improve after all this. What can I say? I'm sending you all my support for what's going on. We will be talking in the future, and I just want to say that, again, after this crazy EuroBasket that we had, I know all of you I'm sure, go watch the games and, winning and these big trophies, these big things definitely changes your life, and be happy where you are, be happy that you are coaching, and that's what we want to do. Definitely women should have opportunity to make a change in the countries where you come from. But to end all of this, it's not, please do not look of someone else giving you an opportunity, giving you an occasion. You go for it, you take it all. Like, I never had someone giving me opportunities in my life. I was grabbing for all opportunities I could have, and I never had an excuse that I was either young, that I was the youngest always, and that I was a woman. So go for it, work hard. At the end of the day, it's always a question of how much you know, trust me. So knowledge is the key thing, and that's why you're here at the camp, and I'm sure that after these days, you will see and feel what I'm talking about. Enjoy it, work hard, and I'll see you online soon in the future. Bye.
So what is important of her message, and is valid for all the coaches out there, is grab the opportunities, don't wait for the phone to ring. This is more valid actually for the women, because somehow, you know, they're not known, and we're not known of going and almost like offer our knowledge and say, hey, hire me, I'm ready, etc. It's more the other way around, but this is valid for every coach. You have to know where you want to go, you have to know who do you need to approach, and you need to be ready for the challenge. You know, so just, it's very important to learn, but learning is not just about attending clinics, it's about following somebody that you really want to be like, about going there, trying to meet with this coach, asking questions, etc. You know, you really need to be proactive if you want to get to the next level. And again, talking to this very successful coaches, she actually won the EuroBasket in Spain that nobody expected that they would win. This was just before the Olympic Games. It was really tough competition, very successful for them, very draining, because just to refocus the team 2 months later in the Olympic Games with her 2 star players with COVID and all the rest of it was really tough. But this is the point where she still finds time to mentor other coaches, and this is the thing, is how are you prepared, you know, psychologically, etc., to actually lead your team, and this is where it all starts. So this is very important here, I think, on the mentoring side. And these mentors, when we are talking about it, when we ask them what makes a coach successful, we were talking about that this morning. What they say to me and to others is, okay, that there are three things that are the measures of success. One is, of course, what you won. You know, and you can't always be a very winning coach, because it depends where you coach. Number 2 is, who did you produce as an athlete? Who is your player? Who is your athlete in athletics or whatever? Who did you build, you know, as a player? And number 3, what is your legacy? Maybe you just stayed in your community and you coach your club. Did you build this club? Did you build a legacy around yourself to bring other coaches? So this is also equally important than winning the medal, because not every and you have to know yourself as a coach, who you are. So this is why we also started, if you like, the grassroots program, which is mini basketball, we call it. And again, we have such a variety across, and this is in other sports as well. It's organized somewhere by the federations, in other places the schools are running this program, so it's a really total mix and match. So we decided, similar to FECC, a little bit more relaxed, but to put a technical course where we, again, have coaches from all countries coming in, and where our best instructors, I already mentioned Sergio is one of them. We also have Maurizio Cremonini from Italy and a few others, that they actually bring this program and try to teach them how to be the best in that. For some reason I can't, you have to. So I'll just show you a short video from, we were there a month ago. This is just some pictures from the visits. It's called FIBA Europe Mini Basketball Coaching Course. And we started with 50 coaches this year. And again, similarly, they will be together for 2 years with a little bit of online sessions in between, working in their own environment. It was very successful launch. And here it is, the video which summarizes, instead of me talking about it, you'll see what it's all about.
People who are either teachers or just develop programs and organize, and then the programs grow. So it was this network, if you have different people and organizations running this, we decided in 2015 to bring all of them together and to exchange views and ideas.
Now we add the
coaching course. So to separate a little bit the whole event into the more administration marketing part for the mini basketball, and also add a component for a coaching course where we also address more the technical part, meaning what do you do on the court, how do you do on the court, how do you work with kids. And we extended the mini convention for these 2 days, so we went from Thursday to Sunday, 4 days, to invite coaches and to educate them in mini basketball.
We wanted the participants from the other countries to come in here and experience and see what can be achieved when you have a vision and ambition.
So this we find perfect situation here in Edge, and that's why we had the interest to come here. This is our basketball future. We want to create early as possible. We have competition with other sports, mainly soccer. There's a big market. We want to get the kids early enough, not only because of our own interest to bring them to basketball, but also as a social responsibility to get the kids moving, to take the kids early as possible, to make them move, to have fun, to enjoy, to see, hey, I don't need to be on the phone all day. I can also go to the gym and have fun there. And that's the main goal we are focusing on.
So what is important, just to summarize, I'm clear that I'm too long. It's just the social part, especially here for the grassroots coaching and especially for the youngest kids, for us is crucially important. And we work together with the Basketball Foundation with the slogan Basketball for Good. Because of course this is important to bring the kids in and to get them engaged. It's a lot of the, if you like, the social element, especially when working with schools and with communities. So we have to make sure that the coaches are aware of that. And now we discussed this morning the importance of coaches, especially at grassroots level, to kind of increase their opportunities for employability, because quite often you just can't go and get a job to coach community. What else can you offer? To actually make yourself more open to these employment opportunities, and this kind of work, you know, with the foundation is one of the directions to go. So I think very quickly there are other programs, of course, that we run together with Sergio and the others. I coach kids, I coach girls. There are a lot of projects that we cooperate, and we're looking forward to build for the future. But I hope that some of this information has been useful for you and you can use it in your own environment. Thank you very much.